welcome back to my channel. I do realize that I have not posted anything roughly in 3 weeks. Bear with me with the fan sound. It is quite hot in my room today. We are basically in the middle of June, so it is quite hot. So for this post, I really wanted to just kind of show my purchases and basically what I purchased the last week of May up to these first week of June. So it is kind of like a mix of my May and June purchases, but I really wanted to do this video because I did kind of go on a shopping spree, if you would consider it that. I did shop quite a bit when it comes to, I guess, like more collectible items and just stuff that are of my interest, of course. So I just wanted to go ahead and give kind of a collective haul of the stuff that I had purchased within these past few weeks. So yeah, let's get into this video. So this little stack that I have right here is one of my most recent purchases. I believe I purchased these last weekend, if I'm not mistaken. It feels like it's been longer, but I'm sure it's only been since last weekend. So I did get compact comics, which is really exciting because these are my first ever compact comics that I've ever purchased. So the first one that I did get here is Batman The Long Halloween, and it was honestly a really great story. I really did enjoy this, and the art is really nice to look at. Even just the story itself, I think it was quite engaging. It's definitely kind of reminds me of more of an Italian mafia kind of vibe, and I really did enjoy this. I would definitely say this is probably one of my favorite Batman series at this moment, but there is something else that I really loved a bit more than this, and we're gonna go ahead and touch upon that. But so far I really did enjoy Batman The Long Halloween. This is my first purchase between June, let's say June and May, which this was literally last week. I highly recommend you also give this a shot for yourself. It is the entire story in one, which is such a great thing, so you don't have to go trying to find all the issues or spending so much. And they're really affordable as well. I believe they're around $10 each, so these are very affordable. I really don't understand the hate around these compact comics. I honestly think they're so great. I mean, all of the story in one, I love that. So the second one that I decided to pick up was Batman Arkham Asylum. I hope I didn't butcher that. Arkham, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I was so excited to see this on the shelf at Barnes & Noble's because I just recently downloaded the game and I'm so excited to play that, and I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up. And the art is phenomenal. I'm gonna go ahead and show you a couple of panels here without really spoiling it, but yeah, here are some of the panels. As you can see here, the art is amazing. One thing that I will say is that I had trouble reading the font just because of how small they are, and I actually had to go onto YouTube and find a live action kind of reading that they happen to have on YouTube so I could understand what was going on, and especially what Joker was saying, because I realized his font, every time he spoke, his font was in red. For example, this right here, this is literally the Joker speaking, and I could not read it for the life of me. So I definitely had to look up like some sort of translation, even if it's, you know, written in English, but it is so difficult to read. But luckily I found a kind of like live action follow along that you for yourself could also look up as well. They have all the panels listed there as well. It shows all the panels, and it's a great form of just consuming this specific media with sound effects and voice acting. So I thought that was quite neat. Despite having these, you know, small letters, I really did enjoy how I consumed this piece of media through the voice acting and the storytelling and just the sound effects. It really made it come to life, and I really did enjoy that. The next thing that I purchased was my Silent Hill 2 CD soundtrack. This was honestly such a crazy find, but I was so astounded to be able to find this. I ended up picking this at a shop called Mad Monk. I believe they are only located in the Central Valley, if I'm not mistaken. That's the only places that I've seen it so far, and this was honestly such a find. It was the last one on the shelf, and I was just so excited to see it. I knew the minute I saw it that I had to pick it up. And oh my goodness, it is so stunning. I'm so glad to finally have a soundtrack that is embedded into my soul physically with me. I think physical media does deserve, again, the hype that surrounds it at this very given moment, and I just love it so much. It is something that I wasn't expecting to find or to even have in my collection per se. And I know you could probably order it online if I'm not wrong, but just finding it in store was a moment that I'll never forget, really. Yeah, I absolutely loved this so much. Here are some of the other items that I ended up picking up at my local comic shop. This was definitely the most I've spent on comics recently since I've gotten into them around April. I am so glad that I did get into them because it gives me another hobby to look forward to when I go out to the weekend. Just like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go to my local comic shop and see what's new. So I was very, very excited to actually see this. I did not realize that even classic monsters per se were in the comic form, so that was honestly really cool to see. So I ended up picking the Phantom of the Opera issue 1, issue 2, and issue 3 of the Phantom of the Opera. The art is phenomenally stunning. It is so gorgeous. And I ended up picking up Dark Souls issue 4. I need issue 1, 2, and 3 before I decide to read this, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, I definitely have to have this in my comic collection. I cannot pass this up, and it was the last one in stock. Like I said, I was really excited to see this in store. As soon as I saw this art, this is honestly my favorite cover. There are variants to each issue, and I think this was the most prettiest one of them all, to be honest, especially this one as well. I'm not too big of a fan of this one here. It's not horrible, it's just not my favorite, but these two, I feel like I have to display them somehow, and I will try to figure that out eventually. But this story, honestly, it still follows the premises of Phantom of the Opera. It's just in comic form, really, but the art is it is so gorgeous. I feel like the art is what kind of grasps me to a certain piece of media before the story does, which I know probably sounds bad, but the art really, really grasped me here, and it is just so beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and give you kind of like an insight of issue 3. I put up my Phantom of the Opera playlist in the background while I was reading this, and I really became entranced with the story. I did watch the film when I was about 8. It is time for a rewatch. I have not rewatched it since, so it is definitely time for me to do that. But just look at how beautiful the art is. It is so, so stunning. It kind of gives me the vibe of Arkham Asylum as well, how it's just so faded and just hauntingly beautiful. That is really what kind of grasps my attention these days, and I really love it. I really do. It's so easy to get entranced with these stories when they just have such beautiful art to look at, and especially if you play a playlist in the background, it's a whole new experience for readers. It's honestly one of my favorite pastimes, and I just love it so much. This page is just so gorgeous. This is me geeking out at this moment. I just love the way this looks and how detailed his eyes are. It still gives you kind of a painting, but you could tell that there's soul behind that mask, and I think that just portrays that very well here. I'm so excited for the next issue. I believe this next issue already came out. Yeah, May 27th, so I am already behind on my issues. So the next time I go to my local comic shop, I will be picking up issue 4. I know you probably hate me already. More comics. As I said, my comic shopping went a bit crazy these past couple of weeks. These were actually purchased off of Mercari from the same seller. I actually purchased them between 2 different purchases, which was quite funny because I saw the username and was like, oh, this is the exact same person selling these comics. But the thing that I really wanted of these was that I am currently obsessed with vampires at the moment, which is very new because I've always been a werewolf girly. I've always been Team Jacob. I've just always loved werewolves growing up, especially after watching Van Helsing. I think that's what kind of sparked my interest into werewolves. But lately, for some apparent reason, I've just been really into vampires lately, and I think it might be because of Interview with the Vampire. I think that's just kind of sparked my interest, and as soon as I saw that there was kind of a theme where Batman and Dracula, or where he kind of just transforms into a vampire, I thought that is totally up my alley at this moment, so I thought I'd give it a go. So I did pick up Batman and Dracula, so this is the first issue of this story. I believe this is Red Rain, and then we have Bloodstorm, and I can't remember the last issue, but I know there are only 3 in this storyline. I believe these are not in publishing anymore, so you do have to get them secondhand. Like I said, I got these off of Mercari. So like I said, the first one is called Batman and Dracula, so this is Red Rain. The story and the art is so gothic, and that's also what I've been obsessed with at this moment, is just kind of like that gothic vibe, and that's kind of what I've been consuming, which is quite surprising because normally you think I'd do that in December and not in June. So as you can see here, the art, let me just go ahead and show you the art here. It is just so gorgeous. The storyline is also very well written. It was an easy read, roughly around 40 to 30 minutes. And I just really love the concept of Batman turning into a vampire and turning into a full quote-unquote bat. It really fits the name, so I really did like this crossover and just really enjoyed it. The story, like I said, is very well written. It does have that 80s kind of touch to it, which I really enjoy. And the cursive was a little difficult to get through here and there, just because it's so small and condensed. But other than that, this was an amazing story. I just really love the artwork. I keep saying that, but it's true. I really do enjoy the artwork of pieces of media that I tend to consume, and it's just so beautiful. So here I have Batman Bloodstorm, which is the sequel to Batman Red Rain. I have not read this one yet, but I did end up finishing Red Rain roughly around 3 days ago or 4 days ago, and this came in like 2 days ago, so just on time, and I'm so excited to continue reading this series. And when I saw this, I knew I had to get it, but I did see that there was kind of a variant covers, a specific cover. There is a cover of this, but I believe it's worth like 30 to 40 bucks, which I'm not sure if it's worth for a comic. We'll see. Time will tell. I might end up just indulging into capitalism again and end up purchasing it, but I really did want this specific cover for Batman Bloodstorm just because I thought it was so cool. The cover was absolutely amazing. I mean, come on, look at that art right there. It is oh my gosh, I just love this story so much, and I cannot really look too much into this. I'm kind of just like skimming through the panels. But I am so excited to read this one, and I am still so obsessed with the artwork and just how, again, the concept of Batman turning into a vampire and being an actual bat, it is just, wow. Like, I just really love that concept. This is definitely going to be my next read in these upcoming days. I told myself I'd finish reading all my comics that I have here before I decide to purchase anything else, so this is most definitely my next read in like a day or so. The next thing that I purchased is the Rolling Stone Lestat cover. This speaks for itself. I feel like I actually purchased this past weekend, so literally like a day ago, 2 days ago, and I knew I had to get it the moment I saw this. I am still very jealous of the ones who were able to attend his one night only live concert in New York. I am so jealous and so sad that they didn't decide to do like an actual tour for him. But I do realize, you know, this is all for marketing, and the marketing is insane for this season. So as I said, I have been very obsessed with vampires lately, and Interview with the Vampire is something that I binge watched within a week, and I absolutely loved it, and I'm so excited to finally start the Vampire Lestat. That is probably most likely what I'm going to watch today. I absolutely love this cover. I'm obsessed with this cover. He looks amazing, astonishing. Normally I'd be the type of person to say Queen of the Damned. Lestat is visually more appealing than any Lestat that I've seen. But ever since, oh my gosh, ever since he became Lestat, I think my opinion may have changed. And I'm just absolutely geeking over this, and I just love it so much. I saw a couple of posts again on TikTok, and I believe this was in the gift basket. I'm not sure if it was a basket, but some sort of gift that they gave out in his New York concert. So I'm so happy that I was able to find this. I did go to 2 separate Barnes and Nobles in order to find this, and I could not find it. And just one time I was like, okay, we're gonna go to another Barnes and Noble, and he was right there. He was waiting for me right there. So I'm so excited to finally have this. Unfortunately, there are only about 2 pages of Lestat, which is crazy because look how thick this is. Yeah, I know you're probably wondering, Diana, why did you buy this if there's only 2 photos of anything that has to do with Lestat? Well, I asked myself that same question, and I will admit this was probably a impulse purchase or more of engaging in capitalism. I will admit that, but I am honestly just happy to have him on the cover here. Like, I love it. I love it so much. It's part of my collection now, and I'm just so happy to have this. As I said, there are only literally 2 pages of this, so you kind of get an interview, more like an interview as if he were, you know, the actual vampire Lestat. He plays his role very well. I've seen the videos, and he was literally possessed by Lestat. He did a phenomenal job, and again, I'm so sad that I wasn't able to really, you know, be able to attend that concert. But yeah, this was honestly I know it's not probably the best kind of pickup per se, because again, it's only 2 pages, but I'm honestly very happy with it, and I love it. This specific photo as well is so gorgeous. The marketing for this show is absolutely insane, and I am eating up every second of it. But where was this marketing when it was just Louis? I will ask that question, and I know there's quite a bit of a debate. Other than that, I'm so happy to have this, and I just love how they really made it seem like, okay, you know, there's an actual vampire. Like, this is a real vampire who went on tour, and now he's doing interviews with Rolling Stone. I love the concept, and I love the idea. I just had to have this for myself. The last thing that I've purchased, which was probably around 2 weeks ago, is my first ever Leon Kennedy figure. I am so obsessed with this figure. He is from Lim Toys, a 1x12 Leon Kennedy kind of action figure per se. He is technically not an official figure just because Lim Toys doesn't have the licensing for Resident Evil, but he is an official figure from Lim Toys, from the company. It's kind of as if you were purchasing from a third party, but he is a phenomenal figure. I did a lot of research on him, and I did read that he was probably one of the best Resident Evil figures out there, so I did do quite a bit of research before I decided to purchase him, because his resale price is not pretty. It's not pretty. I mean, it's not horrible as the Damn Toys 1x6 Leon Kennedy figure, but it is not the best either. But either way, I am so happy to finally have him. His details are insane, and just even the fabric of his clothing is just wow. Like, I absolutely love him so much. And his face is very detailed for being such a small figure, and even his clothing just feels so high quality, if I could say. It feels very high quality, and just every single detail that came into making this figure, you could definitely tell. Like, he is worth the price. His resale price is not pretty. It's not pretty, but he is definitely worth the price that his initial price was listed for. And I just love him. I've been obsessed with him ever since I've purchased him, and I just love him so much. I really love him so much. He's like my first action figure and my first Resident Evil figure. So this may start my journey of collecting Resident Evil figures. We'll see. That journey sounds very expensive to me right now, but it's something that I am thinking about. And I just love everything about him. I love all the accessories he comes with. I believe he comes with the save as well, the typewriter where you could save in Resident Evil 2, and a herb, which is so cute, the raccoon. There's just a lot of cute items that you could potentially pose him with. I still have to pose him myself or add the other details that he has. For example, he has kind of a gun holster here that you could put in, and his walkie-talkie that I just haven't got around to putting it on yet. I am very nervous of changing his hands. I do hear that a lot of people tend to end up breaking his hands on accident just because he's so fragile, so that is something that I'm taking very, very much into consideration, and I don't want to harm him in any single way. So I will not be posing him much. I will not be changing his poses, but I'm just so happy to finally have him. He's been on my figure watch list for quite some time, and I found him for a decent price, I will say. I mean, resale prices are never pretty, but I found him for a decent price on eBay, and I'm just so glad to finally have him in my collection and have him specifically Leon, because I am a certified Leon lover. If you are from my Instagram page, you would know that. So I absolutely love him so much, and I'm so happy to have him part of my collection. Like I said, even the smallest details are so detailed. So far, I am very happy with my Leon Kennedy figure here. He is so adorable. I love him so much. And Rookie Leon, you're my second favorite to Dilf Leon. So yeah, that's pretty much everything that I've purchased these past couple of weeks. Again, forgive me for the loud AC. It is very, very hot despite it being almost 8 p.m. It is quite hot. But like I said, that was everything, that kind of a collective haul that I kind of wanted to show. I think that it would have been a fun, video to put out, because I do know it has been about like 3 to 4 weeks since I haven't posted, and I thought this would be quite entertaining to make, and I really did enjoy making it. Again, thank you so much if you made it this through. That is pretty much everything that I wanted to update on my channel, and I don't know when I'll decide to post again. I do want to be consistent. It's just quite hard to figure out what exactly I want to post out there. But yeah, other than that, I thank you again for sticking around and for rejoining me on this specific video. I hope you enjoyed it. Other than that, again, thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope to see you guys next time.